Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Happy holidays if you celebrate a holiday around this time, and if you don't, happy winter season. I hope you're doing well, and I know the holidays aren't the easiest for everyone, so I hope you are taking care of yourself. And this video is probably going to be a bit of a longer one, so grab a drac. Trying to combine drink and snack there. Grab a drink or a snack, get comfy. I know I am comfy. I am wrapped in a blanket and I have my fairy lights on, and it is snowing here in game. It's just very comfy. I'm super excited. We're just gonna have a chat. I am really struggling to get my training done, so I thought that I would talk to you guys while I do it to entertain me and hopefully you. So you guys know that 2022 is right around the corner, so I have some videos themed around the end of the year, and I'm really excited because those videos are really fun for me to make because I just love reflecting on the past year and, just thinking back on all the memories and stuff. So that's kind of what we're going to be doing today. I want to talk about the past year I had in terms of being an equestrian, all things related to that, the riding journey that I've gone through in the past year, the mental journey with it, some recent events that have happened, and yeah, it's a lot. I don't really have a structured plan for it, so it might be kind of rambly and long, but yeah, that's kind of the goal. I just want to talk to you guys and you guys can get to know me a little bit better through it. So I think I'm going to be looking at my camera roll a little bit in this video because I am definitely someone that loves to document things. I think some people can kind of take it in the wrong way, like I'm not living in the moment, or I'm like too focused on my screens, or just like stuff like that. I mean, I haven't got comments on it personally, but I feel like that's how some people can take it sometimes, but that's not how I see it at all. I just love taking pictures, whenever I hang out with someone, just getting at least one picture, or whenever I go to the barn, just snapping a picture of the horse I ride, just like little things like that, because I am such a sentimental person and I love just like going back through my camera roll. I actually did that last night for like an hour and a half. I was up until 1:30 a.m. just like going through my camera roll, looking at old pictures and videos. It's just something that I really enjoy doing, and I just love looking back on the past, and like not in a bad way that I am like sad about it or anything. It just makes me really happy to like look back at old happy memories and stuff. Let me know if any of you are like that, but yeah, it's something I really enjoy. So I have so many pictures and videos of horses and riding and all things like that from the past year, so I'm gonna be using it to kind of help me like jog my memory about stuff because I don't want to leave details out. And this is kind of a side note, but I'm always curious like what you guys are doing when you're watching these videos that are like longer training videos, because sometimes I am like washing dishes when I'm watching like long rambly videos, sometimes I am eating a meal, sometimes I'm training. It really depends, so leave a comment down below what you are doing while you listen to this. Alright, so let's actually get started talking about my year in terms of riding. So wow, honestly, I think I have probably had the most eventful year with my riding, just in terms of growth and in terms of a lot of things. Honestly, I've changed a lot this year, and yeah, it's just been super eventful. So to start back in January, oh dear, where am I going? So back in January, I wasn't really riding any specific horses. I think I was mostly riding a horse named Finn though. You guys have seen pictures of him. He's like a chestnut horse. He's like pretty small actually. He's like in the 15 hand range, and so yeah, I think I was jumping around 2 foot to 2'3", pretty small stuff. I still hadn't moved up a lot, and I think the main thing that I was working on then was just gaining confidence, because I don't know if you guys know this, but I haven't really opened up a lot about it, but I am a really nervous rider and I get really anxious, not necessarily when I'm actually riding, but anytime that I'm not riding. Just the idea of doing certain things and, jumping, I just have a lot of built up anxiety with it, and it's something that I have struggled with mainly this year. It really picked up this year, so yeah, that's been something that I've been trying to work through, and it honestly really started at the beginning of this year because this horse Finn that I was riding, he refuses a lot, and that would just make me super anxious. And I don't know, he works better with some people than others. Like a close friend of mine just works super well with him, and he never refuses for her. Yeah, he's just different for some people, and I just don't think I have that touch with him. I never got to a point where I could get past my anxiety and work with him with full confidence, because he needs a confident rider, if that makes sense. So yeah, I was probably not in the best spot in the first few months of the year. It was just kind of rough. I was trying to gain confidence while improving as a rider, which is very hard to do simultaneously because you're constantly afraid and trying to make yourself better and listen to your trainer and do what she wants you to do, but at the same time you're terrified. So that was kind of my thought process then. And don't worry, it gets better. This is not a sad story. So then I was riding Eli a tiny bit then, but basically Eli had a full lease for pretty much the entire year of 2020, and it ended in January, and I think I was only able to ride him once that whole year. So that was really tough because he was my favorite pony at the barn, and I just always had this love for him. I don't really know what it was about him, but I had ridden him a tiny bit when I came to that barn, and I don't know, I took a fascination and love for him and just really felt a connection with him. That's the only way I can explain it, but it was really tough not being able to ride him for that whole year. And so the time that his 𝗋𝐶, is that the word? 𝗋𝐶, let me get on him just for a single lap around the arena, I was thrilled. It was the best day ever. And so finally, when the lease ended in January, I was able to start riding him every once in a while, and I owe so much credit to him because he has just done so much for me. And yeah, so I was super excited when I could ride him again, and oh dear, I should probably stop talking so he can get over this jump. Oh my gosh, I did it. Okay, that is the most difficult jump ever. So yeah, I started riding Eli again, and this made me super happy because I was happy for a change from Finn because he was really making my anxiety very high. So if you don't know who Eli is, he is the horse that I half leased this year. He is a pinto pony, and he's 14.2 hands high, so a large. And yeah, he was my half lease. So I didn't know this yet, obviously. We're still in March, April. And I had been talking to my parents about half leasing again because you guys know in 2020 I had a half lease, and I really wanted to do it again because it's just a great experience to be able to grow with a horse continuously over a few months, and it gives you a lot of experience when it's not the commitment of owning or having a full lease for an extended amount of time. So I always knew that I loved Eli, and I wasn't sure if it was a possibility. I did decide to ask my trainer about it, and at first she was no way, there's absolutely no way you are riding him for that amount of time. You're way too tall, too big for him, and I don't think it's a good idea. But turns out I was persistent and I asked a time or two again, and she decided that it was okay, and so we worked it out worked it out with my parents and everything, and it ended up happening, and that started in June. So I kind of just kept riding him throughout April and May, just preparing for that because I knew it was going to happen, and I was getting super excited for that. And my confidence definitely grew in this time. Eli really doesn't refuse, only if you set him up really bad. So if you work on yourself, you can get to know him, I guess, and he's definitely a more predictable horse, so that was definitely nice for me to have. And then here in April, I had my third fall ever. So I never really told the story of this fall, and here I was saying that my confidence grew, but this might not sound like me at all. Whoa, I am completely getting my directions confused. Little directionally challenged tonight. But yeah, so I had my third fall ever, but the story is just like completely opposite from the stories of my other falls. So, oh gosh, how do I even describe this? So, like, there was this trainer that came to the barn, and she was new, and it was the first lesson I'd ever had with her, and so she didn't really like know my abilities at all. I don't think there was much communication between the main trainer and this new trainer like prior to this lesson, besides like, oh, they jump like 2-3. So there was this water jump set up from a clinic that had happened a few weeks ago, and so she made it part of the course, and I think it was like the end. And so this other girl in my lesson approached it on Finn, and she fell off because he was not having it. He did not vibe with that water jump, so that did not work out for them, so she fell off. And then I approach it, and Eli was like, we're not doing that. Finn's not doing it. I'm not doing it. That's scary. I don't like it. So he just refused, and I was like, okay, we can do it. We can get over it. I didn't fall off. I just got a little jostled. So I take him back around to it, and he refuses again, and I fly off of him into a pole. But the miraculous thing is, I'm completely fine. I just get back up and get back on, and I'm totally fine. It was the weirdest experience because my only experience with falling was getting really injured. So this just blew up my confidence. I got up and I felt so good about myself. I would even consider it to be slightly fun because of how horrid my other falling experiences were. I was like, is that what everyone's falls are like? Like, that was nothing. So yeah, that made me feel really good, I guess. I mean, the first day it didn't make me feel good, but like slowly I kind of realized, like, okay, that wasn't bad. Like, hopefully I don't have any more bad falls. Like, that was it. Like, I guess that's how people fall and what it feels like. That was kind of nice. Like, I learned something, you know? But my trainer didn't make that trainer, she left the barn, but she didn't make me go over it again, or the other girl that had fallen off. We just decided not to do that jump that day. Probably a good idea since it was her first day. She probably shouldn't have been like pushing us, but she didn't know that that jump would have been a stress for us because it did have the water, like the liver pool, I think that's what you call them, the liver pool in front of it. So yeah, that was a little fun story. I don't think May was super eventful. I don't think a lot happened. But then we get into June, which was super exciting. I did ride a horse named Duchess in May. She was the new trainer's horse that ended up leaving, and I only rode her like 3 times. She was such an adventure, honestly. She was super hot-headed, and she sat in a pasture for several years, and I don't have a lot of experience with mares, to be honest. My barn only had like mostly geldings, and so I think she was one of like 2 or 3 mares in total. And so I really enjoyed like getting to try a mare, but honestly it kind of did like turn me off from them a little bit because of how like hot-headed she was. But I know there's some like super sweet and calm mares out there. It kind of confirms like my internal stereotype about them. Like, does that make sense? How like hot-headed mares are, even though I know that's like not what all mares are like. I don't know if that makes sense, but I really enjoyed her the first time, and then the next few times she was giving me blisters. I was so sore after. Like, she just made you work so hard. But since I was like willing to ride her, that trainer was like getting me on her whenever she could. And she was a dressage horse, and that was my first experience like on a horse that was more dressage based. Like, she didn't know how to jump, and I was not about to teach her. So yeah, that was a nice new experience to have. And then I went on vacation the first like week of summer, and then I came back and my lease started. Oh my gosh, this was just the most fun summer ever. It was so great, and I have like so much documented from it, and it was just so special, and I'm so grateful for the experience. Eli did so much for me and taught me so much, both mentally and physically and as a rider, and wow, I am just so grateful. So let's start. In June, I had one of the 2 like schooling shows I did with him over the summer. Let me go down to Fir Grove. So we kind of spent the whole month of June getting ready for that. I did a lot of flat work, hacking him, and then we went to the show. So Friday night, I had what I would still consider to be one of the best rides I have ever had, possibly the best. I just remember like the feeling I had after that ride. It was just absolutely magical. Like, I wish this feeling on every equestrian at least some point in their career. Like, it was just magical. It was fantastic. He was so good for me. It was higher than I jumped at home. I think I jumped 2.9 for the first time, which I know isn't super big still, but to me it felt so big on a pony, and not even doing it at home for the first time. I just loved it so much. My ec was awful but it was just so fun, and Eli was just such a saint. He was so good for me, and I don't know, I just learned a lot from that schooling session, and then it gave me a ton of confidence for that weekend, and I just felt super good about it. And the show was definitely not perfect, but I would say it went pretty well. Yeah, I don't know, I really enjoyed it. It was my first experience doing jumpers, and if you don't know, Eli's like, I guess, considered a jumper pony. He really can only do the jumpers in ec because he would do hunters, but he doesn't have a lead change, and well, yeah, I guess that's the main reason. His right lead is like super sticky to pick up, and his change is like pretty funky. He tries to do a flying every time, bless his heart. He tries so hard, but he always like gets tripped and has to fix it. So for that reason, he really can only do jumpers in X. So I went ahead doing jumpers with him, and he is not the fastest. Like, he can definitely get spicy, but he's a pretty slow pony. Like, I have videos of me hacking, and then I like go back and watch them, and I realize how utterly slow we were going. I was like, wow, we look like we were creeping along, like so slow. So yeah, it was just funny to look back on, because I was like, wow, I definitely need to go faster next time. So yeah, I would not say we were the best jumper pair. I definitely could have like pushed him to go faster, but I wasn't super worried about that. I was just going in for the experience and to have fun. I wasn't about to race him around there. I was focused on getting him over every jump, and I did get him over almost every jump. We had a few refusals, but it was all good. The jumps in the jumper ring are a little scary, and honestly, he's like not as spooky in the hunter ring, which has like more flair, with like all the greenery and stuff, but the jumper jumps were pretty spooky in that arena, so he did pretty good. Overall I just had a blast that weekend, and again, it gave me more confidence. I got super cute pictures that my dad took because he has a nice camera, and just a lot of fun memories. Pardon the yawn. I am very sleepy. I went ice skating today, and it wore me out because I have not done it in 2 years, and wow, that was such a struggle. I am not good at ice skating. Props to anyone that can actually ice skate. Moving on to July, I would say my anxiety got better in April, May, and June, and then July is when things really started to go downhill with my barn and with my riding, because those tie in together. So it was definitely still going great with Eli, but some things were going on with my barn, and it was really just not making it enjoyable, and I don't know, I just started getting really down about it and super anxious, and it was not making my rides as enjoyable, specifically lessons. My hacks were absolutely wonderful, the best times ever. Being alone in the outdoor arena at sunset, hacking, playing music really loud. Oh, it's just the most perfect memory ever that I wish I could go back to sometimes. Shout out to you that know that feeling of being alone in an arena on your favorite pony. It's magical. But lessons just were going downhill. I was not happy at the end of them. I was so anxious leading up to them. We're talking shaking, stomach hurting so bad. It was getting really bad, and I want to be open about this because riding anxiety, equestrian anxiety, is not talked about very often at all, and I just kind of want to talk about it because I think more people experience it than what is let on. So I don't think it's something to be ashamed about, because it is an intense sport, and it's very critical. The community can be very toxic, and it has a lot of drama, and anxiety can just come as a part of that if that is kind of how your mind works in a critical environment, and that is how my mind works. And so I'm working on it. I am learning how to deal with it, and I hope you can too if that is something that you experience, because it's not fun to have to live with that, and I hope that you can work towards making it better. Okay, now that little spiel is done, July was not working for me. It was not going great. But I became super close with a girl at my barn, and we just made so many fun memories. We would carpool to the barn all the time, and it was just so fun. She actually leased Finn. She's the girl that works really well with him. He never refuses for her. Kind of jealous, not gonna lie. They work so well together. Eli and I worked well together, and we were just a really adorable foursome. It was really cute. And so that was kind of the thing that made the barn okay at this point. Eli made it all better. He made it bearable because I was able to work with him and get better. Just the two of us, even if our lessons weren't working out, I was still able to enjoy him on my own, And then there was a time in here where Eli went kind of lame. I don't really know what happened, but it lasted seriously a day or two, and so I got to try this horse named Teddy, and I really loved him. Well, actually, I don't know why that just came out that I really loved him. I didn't really love him. Like, I enjoyed trying him. I don't think he was the horse for me. People said I looked good on him, but you know those horses that you just get on and you're like, you know, I'd ride you again, but you're not my favorite, you know? He was like a 4-foot jumper in his good old days, and so, you know, he was definitely spicy. He was a lot of horse for someone like me, but I don't know, I'm really proud of how I handled him, and I think we looked decently good together for my first go around with him, but sadly this was the only chance I got to ride him because him and Duchess left the barn. So okay, and then yeah, like I said, within like a day or two Eli was fine again, but I remember this being super worrisome because it was like the week before our July show. Okay, so my bad, I'm getting things a little bit confused. So this whole like trying Teddy extravaganza and Eli being lame, this was moved on into August, and so what I meant was that it was worrisome because it was right before our August show, and my lease actually only went through August, so the show was kind of like the final hurrah before my lease ended, and all the things I said with like the anxiety and going downhill, this like got even worse in August. Yeah, it was not, you know, not doing too great. There's just like a lot going on at my barn and a lot of personal things that I won't go into because it's just personal to me in my barn, like I said. But I will say, it was a mess. He was fine in a few days, and the show, okay, so this whole show experience was an absolute disaster. So basically schooling got canceled on the Friday, which we were supposed to go to school, and so I went to the barn on Thursday, and we were supposed to have a lesson, and it was pouring rain. Like, me and my friend had to pull over on the side of the road. It was actually really scary. The rain was awful. It was so loud just coming down. Like, we couldn't hear each other talking to each other in the car. It was terrible. So we finally get to the barn, and it hadn't gotten to the barn yet, so we were able to tack up, and then right as we get on, it starts pouring. And so the trainer is just like, okay, you guys can just do a lap around, just make up a course, do a lap around, and you can be done. So I actually have this ride on camera, and listening to it, it is so ridiculously loud. Like, I can find it and turn the volume up. It's so crazy loud. Oh my gosh. Okay. So yeah, that was that ride. The saints were the saints. The horses were absolute saints. They were so good and such good sports about it. They were not spooky at all, and honestly, I was kind of scared because of how loud it was. I was scared that they were gonna like freak out, or there'd be a loud clap of thunder or something, but they were really good. And honestly, that was a terrible night, but I was really happy with Eli. He was the good part about it, but again, more barn mess. Yeah, things were just going downhill. So then, like I said, schooling on Friday got canceled, another down, and then by the time I'd gotten to the show, there was a series of events, and I was just not in the right headspace, and that kind of ruined the show for me. And I wish I could go back and kind of change my mindset, because it really just affected a lot. It affected how I rode, it affected how Eli was feeling and how he performed, because I was just feeding all of that negative energy. And yeah, it just resulted in a lot of refusals, a disqualification or two from classes, and yeah, it was just a mess. And I forgot to mention, I was showing 2-3 and 2-6 in the jumpers, and so I showed August 28th and the 29th. Oh, excuse me, I'm really tired. And then my lease ended 2 days later on the 31st. So I'm pretty sure I rode, I know I rode Tuesday on the last day. I can't remember if I rode that Monday or not. I think I might have decided to give him a day off. I can't really remember, but he had been ridden a lot, or I just worked him really light, but I was definitely trying to, like, you know, use up all of the time that I could with him, because I just wanted to get every last ounce of him that I could, because I was definitely going to miss leasing him, and this was definitely really sad for me to end, but I knew that it was for the best, and I couldn't ride him forever, because going back to, you know, when I said, we weren't even really sure if I should lease him because of, like, how big I was for him, but you know, it ended up working out, and I'm so glad that I did it, but I can't ride a pony forever, so it had to happen at some point, you know? So this last day it rolls around, and honestly, this was a good day. You know, I really enjoyed it. It was sad, and I had just gotten some sad news, unrelated, but that was just kind of my outlet that night, and I really enjoyed it, even though it was really sad. Yeah, I have a really cute video, and it was sunset. It was just like perfect. It was such a cute little moment. So yeah, and then I got to ride him, so that was like a Tuesday, the last day in my lease, and then I got to ride him on Friday, so that really encouraged me that it's not like I was never gonna be able to ride him again. So September rolls around. September was quite the interesting month. It had a huge turn of events, and this is actually the last month I will be talking about before I move on to other topics. So this is kind of where my, like, riding ended for the year, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, I got to ride some other horses and just get back into the swing of things of riding like actual horses and not ponies. So that was definitely a change for me. I felt like really weak, and my confidence went down again after it gotten like super boosted in the middle of the year, and then it went downhill again in like August, and then September it was just not, my confidence was not doing well, because I got on these big horses and just felt super weak because my legs were all noodly because they were used to Eli's tiny body. Let me know if any of you relate to that feeling of like riding a pony all the time and feeling super weak when you get on a horse. I don't know what it is, but man, the worst is like getting on and feeling that your thighs are so weak and you're just like gonna slip off, or you like can't just get the right grip. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah. Then I had signed up for my 3rd season of IEA, and if you don't know what that is, it stands for Interscholastic Equestrian Association. Is that the right A word? I'm going to double check that. Yes, it is association. So, do I really have to do the nature treats? I guess I will. I'm really trying to max this horse. Okay, here we go. But yeah, so at the very first IEA show, this was September 11th and 12th, that weekend. So the first day actually went really well. I rode this like chestnut that I absolutely loved. I totally would have bought him if I was able to do so. I loved him so much. He was so good for me. I think I got like a 3rd. And my flat went pretty well too. I was so happy with it. It was a great start to the season. It was definitely a lot more competitive doing the 2-foot rather than the cross rails, because there's just so many people in the 2-foot division, and there's some really good people. So yeah, I don't know. You're always like worse riding horses that you don't know, you know? So that's why I was like showing in the 2-foot rather than the 2 6 because you want to be competitive, so you're always like down a division, and I had pointed out of the cross rails before, so that's why I had moved up to 2 foot. And IEA jumps are always like so tiny. Like the 2 foot is like 18 inches. It's so tiny. Where is this? I'm so confused. Is it like in? Oh, it's over there. I'm blind. Okay. So yeah, day 2 was when things took a turn of events. So I drew this little pony, like tiny little round pony, and oh goodness, he was a handful. The other riders that had ridden him that day, it was kind of disastrous. And so I got on him and I was already terrified, probably not in the right mindset. Honestly, I kind of blacked out of this day. I don't really remember it that well. So I did my course, and on the very last jump I decided to I have a video on this if you want to go back and watch it, but I decided to like push him because I'd held him back to every jump, and I was like, what would happen if I just let him go for this one last jump? And no, I should not have changed anything on the very last jump when I was about to be done. I should have just kept holding him, but no, I let him go, and he took a leap early, and yeah, that did not end well for me. And I landed on my foot really hard. And so I went home, laid down for like 3 hours, and I was not doing well. Tried to get up, stepped on my foot, put it down on the ground, started bawling and like screamed, was in a lot of pain, ended up going to the doctor, and x-rays didn't show anything, so I had to wait 2 weeks to get an MRI, and I had a boot, and I was on a knee scooter for like 8 weeks. My tibia was broken, so where am I going? Long story short, I was broken, and this put me out of commission for a good, well, you know, it's like just until like 4 weeks ago, so I don't know, what is that, 3 months? Yeah, it was quite the adjustment to handle being on a scooter at school all the time, you know, not being able to ride, like losing that outlet. And yeah, it was definitely a change of events, but in some ways it was a blessing in disguise, which I will get into. But yeah, that was the end of my riding career for 2021. So I suppose we should talk about where I am now and what is happening with me, because I haven't talked about riding like on my Instagram story at all in a long time, and I haven't talked about it on YouTube I don't think I've talked about it since like the video about breaking a bone, which you can go watch if you would like. Why am I forgetting if there's races at Sunfield Farm? What am I thinking? Of course there's races at Jorvik Stables. Well, that shows how much I've been playing Star Stable recently. That was really embarrassing that I couldn't even remember if there's races here. Okay. Anyway, so obviously, having a really nasty fall again really just took my confidence down to the depths of the sea. Depths of the sea? I don't know what I'm saying. But yeah, that definitely did not help, I can tell you that. Yeah, so, I kind of just went through a mental battle for like 2 months, and a battle of, well, there was like a small sliver of time where I was like, is this really what I want to do? Like, should I be riding or should I quit? I don't think I ever actually considered it, but it was like, you know, in the back of my mind for a split second, a time or two. But I quickly figured out that it's definitely not in the cards for me. There have been many times where I have cried because I want to ride so badly, but I just got super conflicted, one because of riding anxiety, but that was not even the part that was actually holding me back so far. It was my barn. So I've kind of mentioned like the issues that were going on, just a lot of drama. I don't want to like call anything out for reasons that I will get into later, but yeah, kind of how do I describe this? So there's just issues with my trainer, and yeah, it's kind of just that, to put it simple. And it's just really not working out for me anymore. So about a month ago, I would say, yeah, probably a month ago, maybe 5 weeks ago, I'm not really sure, I decided like, okay, I'm gonna put my riding outfit on. I put breeches on for the first time in like several months. It was so weird, and I went out to coffee with my friend from the barn, and we went and I watched her lesson, and I asked if I could ride, and my trainer said no. And she said she would look at the board, but all the horses were going to be used for IEA lessons, so I was like, okay, and she never looked at the board. And I ended up just being treated not very well. I'm really trying to be careful with my words here. Yeah, I just was not treated well this day, and this was really the last straw for me, and I decided that it was not the right fit for me anymore. So that is kind of where I am now, and things might change. This is just where I'm at now, but I'm pretty confident that I'm not going to continue riding there. And I love the people there, I love the horses, but it's just not working out for me personally anymore as a rider, and I think that's okay. People change, people grow, and I just need something else right now. So that's what's kind of happening. I still have not sat on a horse since my fall, which is crazy that I haven't ridden in that long, because I'm so used to riding like at least once a week, sometimes like 4 times. So yeah, it's honestly been really strange, and I miss it so much. Hasn't happened yet, and we are just kind of open right now, and I'm open to finding a new barn. We're gonna inquire soon, and I'm just super excited for the fresh start that the new year holds. And I'm so excited to just meet new horses, meet new trainers, possibly volunteer at like a hippotherapy place. If you don't know what that is, no, it's not hippos, it is horses. Like doing therapy, like using horses for therapy for people in a short-term definition. So I might volunteer at a place like that and find a new barn, and I think there's just such a bright future and such a like warm, exciting feeling in the possibility of a fresh start, and so that's been giving me a lot of hope recently, and a lot of anxiety with a fresh start and a new barn, but a lot of hope packaged in there. So yeah, I honestly feel really good being super honest with how I felt with riding the past year, because I don't think it's good to keep in all of your feelings with the sport, because yeah, I'm so grateful that my friends from that barn that I no longer belong to, that's why I was kind of like the trainer, not saying my trainer in this video. Yeah, that's kind of cleared up why, I guess. But yeah, I have some really good friends there that I was able to kind of talk about the things that were happening there, and it's just been really great to like find that community and be able to talk about it and be open. So I encourage you to do so, whether it's like in an online community with a friend that you have at your barn, or just like talking about it with someone, because you know, I think everyone has some sort of struggle with the sport. I mean, maybe you don't. I am super happy for you if it is just all sunshine and rainbows with horses, because that's how it should be, but the reality is that it isn't. The equestrian world is just absolutely crazy, and yeah, so hopefully everyone can find some comfort in the struggles of that. Yeah, I need a water break. I've been talking for a very long time. I think I've possibly been filming for like 55 minutes. Oh geez. Okay, but yeah, I think we can move on to the last point. So yeah, basically, I like don't have an update right now because I'm not riding still. So I'm kind of gonna get into like moving forward, what's gonna be happening as far as like my channel and riding. So I kind of want to speak in regard to the community posts that I posted last week, talking about like internet safety. So I'm not gonna go into a ton of detail because honestly it still scares me. The whole situation was very scary. Yeah, it was just a lot. So basically there was personal information on my channel sitting there for an extended period of time, and I did not realize this because I've definitely been like behind in replying to comments the past few months, and so I never saw this comment. And the comment that even made me realize it was one that was recent. It had only been commented like a day or two ago because I decided to check my comments randomly, and I'm so happy that I did when I did, because I did not want that to sit there any longer. So yeah, there was just personal information in regard to my barn and everything. So I guess I can't say my barn anymore. The barn I used to be a part of. So yeah, that was a pretty scary safety concern, and it was not fun to experience. It's still not. I've definitely put it out of my head now, but just to like kind of reiterate, if you think you go to the same barn as me, or you think you know who I am, please don't tell me. At least don't tell the internet. You can come talk to me personally in my DMs, and we can sort that out. But if you just please do not comment it on my channel, or if the same happens with you and another influencer, please do not comment it. It can be a safety hazard for both of you. So yeah, I kind of give my whole spiel on my community tab, so you can go check that out if you want to read it. But yeah, so that in regard to like what is happening going forward, I did take some videos down because it really just worried me. And yeah, I just wanted to have less personal things on my channel, which honestly makes me sad because I love sharing bits and pieces of my life with you, especially my equestrian life. But it did just get to a point where it was too much, which honestly, I don't even think it was too much. It was super shocking because I could have been sharing so much more. And the fact that someone like discovered that with the tiny platform I have is just really crazy. So yeah, it was quite the experience. So I'm definitely going to be a lot more careful now. Yeah, so I did remove my IRL highlight on my Instagram too, just to like take a little break from sharing my personal life for a while. I mean, I'll still share stuff about like me and how I'm feeling and how I'm doing and what I'm up to and stuff like that, just not like writing videos and stuff that is like a visual representation, because that can be a safety concern. Like starting at my new barn, I think I'll talk about it, you know, because I'd love to share that with you, but I can't really show you many videos. I might here and there, but I'm going to be a lot more selective, and it's not going to be super often. I don't think I'll have like barn vlogs and stuff that I used to make like that. So yeah, I still don't think that I shared too much. I think it was just pure coincidence that something like that happened, and pure coincidence that the person it happened with decided, or I guess didn't know, that they shouldn't say things like that. So yeah, I'm gonna be more careful now, and honestly it makes me sad that I'm not gonna be sharing as much, because I just love to have you guys included on that, and I know you guys like to hear about it, and I know a lot of you do know that stuff like that isn't okay and do understand it, but not everyone does, and I have a younger audience that might not understand personal safety, and so I'm also here to educate you on it. So yeah, I'm just gonna take a little break from that right now. But I think I'm gonna do this race and end this video because it has gotten so long, and I will possibly split it into 2 parts. This is crazy long. Might be the longest video I've ever made. I actually did film for 50 minutes one time, and I think the video ended up being like 11 minutes long or something. I cut it down so much. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this. I've always wanted to have like a proper podcast video, and this is finally it, because I think the longest video I've made is like 30 minutes long. I might be wrong, I might be forgetting something, but yeah, okay, I will see you at the end of this race. Okay, JK, I failed it, so I'm not even gonna try again. Don't be quitters, guys. Don't be a quitter like me. Also, whoa, it is so weird to see like the snow filter in Greendale when it's like all bright and sunny, looking like summer with like snow falling. It's so funny. Okay. Yeah, I really hope that you enjoyed this video and hearing about my life but not seeing it because, you know, safety reasons. I just want to thank you for 5,000. I just appreciate you guys so much, and I am so grateful for all of the opportunities that you have given me, and it just means so much to me. I love you all, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!